Yeah, man, people. Yeah, man. Welcome back. Welcome back to another FA Cup recap, man. Ah, good morning to everyone. Yeah, good afternoon. Good day. Good day to everyone. Whenever you guys, watching this back. But Jaja, what did I just witness, man? The Arsenal, they just got their third defeat in a row. What the hell is going on at the Emirates Stadium? Wow, I don't know, man. I need some questions, from Arsenal fans. Yeah, so whenever Arsenal fans check in, just drop your comment down there in the box, man, and let me know what is really going on. Mikel Arteta is losing that wheels, Jaja. But yeah, there again, second video, FA Cup recap, third round, it's heating up, man. It's heating up, yeah. I'm also hot at the moment, yeah. All that stuff. But I just want to big up the people, thanks for supporting all the videos, man. Keep sharing it, keep smashing that like button, and if you haven't subscribed as yet, you just go over there and subscribe. But FA Cup, one thing I have to say, I want to start off with this before I forget this. Yeah, the VAR, the VAR decisions in those games, especially the games, in championship, those home games in League One and League Two, there's no VAR, in those games. And quite a bit, I kind of enjoy those games, because there wasn't any VAR decision or anything overturned or overruled, by the referee or VAR or anything like that. But you could enjoy the game, whenever a goal celebrate, you just know that it's going to be a goal. And I think that, you have to give the referees, you have to give the referees a lot of credit. They make some spot on decision, they usually did that, Sometimes they make a few mistakes, but I think the VAR they kind of overrun it more than I expected. I could probably use a VAR for, like, goal line technology if the ball go over the line. Probably I would say, the offside decision, probably, because sometimes the offside are marginally, incorrect, or sometimes it's correct. Yeah, but the VAR, the referees being really good, those championship teams that played at home in the FA Cup over the weekend, I enjoy watching those games, quite a, big result even yesterday, Maidstone, won, at home also. That's a non-league team in the National League South, beating, a championship team. But that's the joy of watching, the FA Cup, with all these small teams, coming up, fighting for that results. Remember, these small teams been playing the FA Cup since around 3-4 months ago. So, they in it to get that prize money and create history. Remember that 1988, Wimbledon final, Wimbledon and Liverpool in the FA Cup final. Wimbledon beat Liverpool and won, and that's one of the biggest upset, in FA Cup history. Yeah, you saw, Grimsby Town, a team that played in the League Two last campaign. They go all the way up to round the fifth round. They lost away, 2-0, at Southampton. But it was a wonderful run. Wrexham was our next team, last campaign in the FA Cup. They make a run for it. Yeah. You saw them push Sheffield United, a Premier League team, all the way to a replay, and they just narrowly lost, I think 2-1, 3-1, 3-1, yeah, at Bramall Lane, last campaign, to lose out, to the Premier League team. But this is it now. The FA Cup is heating up. It's heating up. Let me see. The Maidstone. Yeah, the Maidstone United beat Stevenage 1-0 at home. They got that penalty, and they scored that. So National League South team all the way in the sixth division, beating a team, in League One. So big result, for Maidstone. But going to, talk about another thing about the FA Cup. So, the FA Cup is, if you draw a game, you're going to play a replay. I think it goes all the way up to the fifth round now, or the fourth. I think the replay stop at fifth or fourth round, but the FA Cup can be a little bit more excited, only if, the FA of England, they can probably change the format a little bit. You saw, what the German did, in that DFB Pokal Cup. They did, like, whenever that cup draw, it's a knockout, but it's not, there's no replay in it. And the highest seeded team. So if Bayern Munich is playing a team from the fourth division in Germany, the more Bayern Munich go on to play that game away. So the highest seeded team always play the away game. So it will be a little bit more excited. It will be a little bit more passion. The bigger teams going to the smaller teams home ground. So I think it will be really interested to see if the FA Cup, can get that. But knowing England, very traditional of what they're doing, they like to do things, what they started from in the 18th, 17th century all the way to now. That's how they do their thing. But it will, I think, changing the format a little bit, you could see that, certain coaches, over the years probably could say, the starting of the Premier League era, 91, 92, that's when the Premier League era started. Most coaches don't really go in the FA Cup, to start their stronger teams. Some coaches, tend to play weaker teams. But, back in those days, especially the black and white days, the FA Cup was like one of the biggest, cup competition in the world, even though it's the oldest cup competition in the world. But certain coaches, just like, Jurgen Klopp, he always, bench important players. As Liverpool, they have another game in a few days from now. They're going to play that EFL Cup. Yeah, so it's just another thing. Yeah, it's just another thing in the FA Cup, where coaches just tend to play weaker teams at the moment. But I think there is around Liverpool make, I think, the 10 Premier League team. I think Liverpool made the 10 Premier League team that are through to the fourth rounds already. And I think around 3 to 4 more Premier League teams that's who's going to play, the replay. I know Luton Town drew with Bolton, Crystal Palace and Everton drew. Which other team? I don't remember, but I think another team that drew, so they're going to play the replay. And a few smaller teams left back in it. But the draw will take place on Monday. I think it will be at 2:50 Eastern time. Around, I think, 20 minutes before that United game. Kick off at 3:15 tomorrow. United play Wigan. That's the last. That is the last fixture of the FA Cup, the third round. So, am I guessing? Is it that we're going to get that that FA Cup win over Wigan? Wigan do that big victory. In 2013. Against Manchester City. I think that's the best win in Wigan history, beating Man City, 1-0 at Wembley Stadium in that FA Cup tie. I think Roberto Mancini was the coach at that time, yeah, and I think the goal scored by Steve Sidwell, it was a header from Sean Maloney, corner kick. But I think I went through everything. But a few matches played yesterday. Yeah, a few matches played yesterday at the 360 Bet Stadium, Stoke City. They lost 4-2 at home. To Brighton. Brighton first. No, Brighton scored their own goal. Van Eyck scored their own goal, and I think Estopinian, he scored a wonderful goal. Just before the end of the first half, and that was a 1-1. But Brighton went on to go 2-1 up. And I think right after Stoke City got a penalty, what's his name? Remember his name, handball was, spin on the Brighton defender. And, I think Lewis Baker, stepped up and buried that penalty, and it went 2-2. But Brighton just took, all that advantage. Stoke City were just dropping too deep. And new coach, I think Schlottermack, he is coming over from, think he's coming from Port Al, I forgot that team. Um, I don't remember that team, but yeah, there is a new coach. He been at the end for the last 4 to 5 games now. For Stoke City, previous coach was O'Neill. Yeah, but Jamaica international man Daniel Johnson, he was playing at the left wing back. I don't know where the hell, who put Daniel Johnson to play at left wing back. That's some that is some suicidal move. Daniel Johnson is a player don't bless with pace. He don't bless of defending. With wingers or wing backs running off his shoulder. He played even though he was playing out of position, but he was a little bit poor. His position awareness it was really poor because Daniel Johnson is a number 10. He is a number 10, and seeing him play that left wing back, it was a terrible decision, but they lost, I think this is the third time back to back now, Stoke City is losing in the FA Cup third round, but no, last season, Stoke City, they got beaten in the fifth round against Brighton 1-0 at Bet360 Stadium. Before that, fifth round and third round. So they've been known for crashing out after third and fifth round, Stoke City. Another game, Chelsea versus Preston North End at Stamford Bridge. Oh my, I seen why supporters, Chelsea supporters are, I would say, not favorable Mauricio Pochettino at the moment because just seeing Chelsea playing in that first half, if it was a Premier League team, they played like that in that first half, they probably would have get smashed. Yeah, they probably would have get smashed, and only a few attempts made an goal at Preston that in goal in that first half. But Preston playing that 5-4-1, sitting really deep, defending really deep. You can imagine, a mid-table team, coming from the championship, coming at Stamford Bridge in a FA Cup tie. They have only one job to do, and it's just defend until the game finish, and they can hold out and try to get a replay and go back to home and try to get a victory. But Chelsea, no identity, Michaela Mudryk, I don't know what he was doing, in that. It seems like, Michaela Mudryk is a player, he's blessed with pace, he's very direct, he has skills, but when you look at Michaela Mudryk, it's like his end product is not superb. And it goes back to when, remember, Christian Pulisic, I'm not writing off Modric as he has he has assets of the skills that a winger should have, but sorry, he has assets a winger should have in their locker, in Europe, but he's not managed to play consistently. And as I was saying, go back to Christian Pulisic, yeah, it's the same type of player, quick, very direct, like to take on players 1v1, but he's not, he didn't get that consistent run in a Chelsea team. Chelsea team is a very huge squad, and Christian Pulisic, he left the club, in the summer and went to AC Milan and just to get more minutes, and you could see that he's improving day by day as he played. It's a different Pulisic. It's not the Pulisic probably around 5 years ago when he's at Dortmund, but he's getting there. So at some point I feel like Michaela Modric, even though he signed a long-term contract, yeah, and the price tag is overpriced, they bought him for a whole lot of money, and I think that was too much, but you could understand in the transfer market is inflated. But at some point, Michaela Modric and his agent going to have to sit down and think if Chelsea is the best club, but let's move on, Chelsea squad. This squad, I just said it's huge, but a lot of potential player, in that squad. Enzo, Lavia, Caicedo, Colwell, Badashiel, so many young players, Fofana, Reece James, the injury prone, but they just seems to can't get it, intact. And it seems like, Mauricio Pochettino is crying again that he want more players after that, and he's not looking to load off players as yet, but this squad is good enough. Chelsea should be performing way better than expected. It seems like they each time they move a step forward, a couple more games they take 3 steps back, and that's the Chelsea this season. But this squad have a lot of players in it. It's really good, Raheem Sterling is a really good player, yeah, proven player at Liverpool. His end product have improved a lot. After leaving Liverpool, go to Manchester City. Go under a world class manager, someone that get the best out of probably 80-90% of all his players that he bought over the years, Pep Guardiola. And just to see, Sterling, what he did during his time at City, came over at Stamford Bridge now, still a good player, but a different Raheem Sterling playing out of a system than playing in a Liverpool, than playing a City team that, there is no that than playing a City team, there is a system, but this Chelsea team there is no system where players coordinate together. In that City team, he can play with his eyes closed. Meanwhile, at Chelsea, he has to play with probably 4 eyes, two in front and two at back. Yes, so Sterling, wonderful free kick. He scored one against Newcastle, and I think he kicked another free kick on Bournemouth. He hit the bar, and now he scored another free kick on Preston. But Chelsea, won the game. They through to the fourth round of the FA Cup. Chelsea have a crucial game coming up. It's going to be, I think, away, Michael Carrick team at Riverside Stadium. Saw Aston Villa struggle to beat them. So it's going to be a tricky two-legged tie, for the London team, when they're going to come up against Middlesbrough in those two-legged tie. But, you know, Borja, I just want to say this about Borja. I know Borja played a couple seasons back, for Southampton, where he scored 9 goals in the Premier League at that time. And my comparison, between Borja and Jackson, the man that went off to go play for, Senegal in that African Cup of Nations. You see that game against Preston, the more ball you get inside, from the width ball getting into the box with that target number 9, that's what you're going to get. And it's a wonderful, header. Just kind of glance, that ball to the far post. Don't need much touch off that ball. You just need that to just gaze off the head. And, that's what he did. And time and time, Jackson missed a couple of those chances, more clear-cut chances, but Borja, if this player can stay fit, for Chelsea, he would probably give them more than what Jackson can do, because Gusto is a player like to get down the byline, like to get the ball in the box, and it's the same. It's the same for Reece James. Liverpool. So Richard Green, the FA Cup draw will be tomorrow, 2:50 p.m. Eastern time. Think that will be like around 7 p.m. 7 p.m. UK time. So the draw will be 15 to 20 minutes right after the United game tomorrow. But Liverpool have a crucial game, coming up though. I think they will play Fulham in a two-legged game in the EFL Cup. But the FA Cup draw will be tomorrow. But yeah, Borja more. He's a proven striker in the Premier League more than Jackson. He has done it, for Southampton. So let's give, Chelsea can give Borja a time. This is his best opportunity. Jackson is away in the African Cup of Nations. So let's see if Borja going to take this opportunity and grab it. But I think I'm going to move on, from Chelsea and Preston. Want to talk about, Middlesbrough, Aston Villa, Leon Bailey team played at Riverside Stadium yesterday. It was going to the Riverside and be knowing, for all enough Premier League teams, especially when during their playing time in the Premier League, they are tough team. Answer that. Whisper. Whisper have for a player, a young player that's is 18, you have loads of potential, coming from Kingston College, to the Premier League. our player have done it before. Ricardo Bibi Gardner have done it from Wolmer's to Bolton Wanderers, but it's a different level of playing field. That's Bolton there, and this is Chelsea, where Chelsea, the pressure is on them to win every game that they played in, and a manager who is not performing at the level that the owner expect him to do right now, it's going to hard for him to push enough youngsters in it. So my best advice for young Dujan is to get those games in under 21 level. Nothing wrong with that. Drop down and play in the under 21, under 21 Premier League, that reserve Premier League. You saw, quality player have done that before. Real Madrid bought Vinicius a year earlier, and he came in the other year. He spent a season loan back at Flamingo. He come at Real Madrid. He went right down to the Real Madrid Castillo, and he performed well. And there was an injury problem in Real Madrid at the time. Cristiano Ronaldo was carrying a calf injury. Gareth Bale at the time, he was struggling with injury, and they have no choice than draft a young Vinicius. And when Vinicius came up from the Castillo, what he did, he never looked back. He took his opportunity. So young Dejan have to go in Chelsea team with the right frame of mind. You can't go in and say, not many youngsters come up through the ranks of Chelsea, right now. We've seen it in a couple of years, when Frank Lampard was there, was trying to bring up all those English kids in the Chelsea first team, but I believe that, a player his age is very strong. He's very powerful. I watch look a bit of the Premier League, the reserve, that under 21 Premier League, in England. So you have all the skill set, in his locker to perform there. So it's up to him, perform there. If he can't get through to that first team, probably, you can ask for a loan. Your performance on the pitch can reward you, to get a loan, and you can go probably in Belgium, in Netherlands. I wouldn't want him to go, in the championship. The championship is tough, and manager gets sacked daily in the championship and League One, yeah, because the pressure is so high down there. It's below that English Premier League, those three permit championship, League Two, League One, those three leagues are one of the toughest leagues in the world below the first division in any country. Yeah, so it will be a lot of pressure. So young kids that going out and loan, you want them to be as comfortable as they can, settled in a welcome family atmosphere at the club. So going to Belgium, Netherlands, probably France, Germany, those teams take care of you, your well-being, make sure that as a loaning you get that your development continue. It's not like the championship where it's all about winning, promotion. Yeah, so it's just same as the Premier League. But yeah, he has all that skill set, in his locker to break through, but it's up to the player. It's up to the player's right attitude. You have to have the right frame of mind. You have to be really tough. But it's not easy to break through. You saw Lewis left Chelsea, go back to his boyhood club that he support, Newcastle. So it's not easy, man. Omar Hutchinson, another reggae boy international, couldn't make that breakthrough. So many players, Tomori struggled day in and day out to get in that Chelsea team. Tammy Abraham struggled. Even though those players played well under Frankie, but when other managers came in, they just sit out on the sideline. So as I was saying, Middlesbrough, it took a well-deserved strike, from Matty Cash to get that goal, for the Villains, yeah, and it was a well-deserved victory for Aston Villa, even though, as Middlesbrough, have certain moments in that tie, but they didn't look really threatened. Last campaign, Middlesbrough, had, I think it was Ramsey, the younger brother Ramsey, and they have Chuba Akpong, the player that went on to play for Ajax now. Those players missing in that Middlesbrough team, so it's not really a strong Middlesbrough team. You saw, what Michael Carrick did. They got beaten, I think, in the semi-final. of the playoff. I think Luton Town beat them. Yeah, so it's not a very strong, powerful Middlesbrough team, but they threatened Villa. But our guy, our player, our top man, Leon Bailey, I would say probably above average. Yeah, above average. But they didn't give him much space, in that game. But he managed to do his thing. But I think probably the first 10 minutes or 15 minutes, after the second half, his game kind of dropped off a little bit. But it's all down to that Middlesbrough press because they came out a much better team, in that second half. So Aston Villa were finding themselves defending a lot in that game, in that from that 50 mark to all the way up to that 65th, 70 mark minute of the game until, Unai Emery made, I think, 4 changes. I think he brought on Zaniola, Douglas Luiz, Watkin, and I think he brought on someone else. I don't remember. And from there, Aston Villa kind of took the game more away from Middlesbrough, and they started threatening more. Diaby. Since Watkins came on the pitch, defenders, starting to drop back off deep. Cause Watkins like to run behind. Diaby got pace, and I think that's what Aston Villa didn't do enough what they did previously. Get Leon Bailey in beyond, the back line where he could run on and take on play a 1v1, but they managed to do so. But I think it's all down to, Kamara and Douglas Luiz playing that midfield. Dendon Cora is not creative, but as soon as Douglas Luiz came on, everything just started tick, in that midfield for the Villains, and that's when chances start to create. Half chances start to come, the ball start to go beyond, the Middlesbrough backline, and Matty Cash got his goal and put Aston Villa in the fourth round of the FA Cup. Yeah, and this is Aston Villa 8th straight game without a defeat. So going to move on. Talk about another Reggae Boy International. I think I said 8th straight game without defeat. It's eight win and 3 defeat in the run so far for Villa. Yeah. Aston Villa, I have a stats, Aston Villa. The last time Aston Villa won a trophy, it was the League Cup. Yeah. Aston Villa, not talking about promotion, not talking about the promotion trophies that they won, but last time Aston Villa won something as silverware, it was the League Cup 96, and the last time they won that FA Cup, it was 1957, man. So, can this Aston Villa team, go on to lift the FA Cup? They can, but no one want to face, Manchester City tomorrow in that draw. No one want to face Liverpool tomorrow in that draw also. So Sheffield United, yeah, the Sean Bernard team beat Cardiff, the team from Wales 4-0. They blanked them, and it was a comfortable ride, for the Reggae Boy International. Didn't have much to do, but he managed. I see him. This is one of the first game I've seen him, like, watch him from minute 1 to minute 90. When he's playing that 4 at the back, he got the license, in that Sheffield Wednesday team, where he can dribble the ball a little bit more out. Under the Reggae Boy, he tend to sit back a lot. Whenever he partnership with Pinnock. Pinnock is the one that always push the ball forward between those two center half, and is either if he pure it. Damian Lowe is always that one that always push up, and he's the one that tend to stay back. But seeing him play, that game yesterday, I was like, whoa, he's that good, because I seen him be hitting some diagonal pass, some 30, 40 yards pass, to the wingers. I was like, he's that good. And he's also making passes, with his left foot. Yeah, both feet. But the long diagonal pass were pinned off his right foot. But really good center half, for the Reggae Boy, someone that, whenever we have someone like a Low or a Pinnock is not feeling well or is absent, some suspension, is a really good addition for the coach can bring in. But Sheffield Wednesday, been struggling in championship, but since lately they won their last two games in the championship, so beating Cardiff, this is their third straight win in a row, and they sit in 22 in that red zone, 3 points, from Huddersfield from safety. So let's see if Sheffield Wednesday, I keep saying United, Sheffield Wednesday. Let's see if Sheffield Wednesday, can keep up that good run of form and try to get out of that relegation zone. I don't want to see, Sheffield Wednesday go down to that League One, as it can be a very tough league to come back from. You saw Sunderland, yeah? Sunderland is a team fell from the Premier League Championship to League One. Portsmouth is still down there. Sunderland just came up a couple seasons ago. Portsmouth is still down there. Bolton is still down there. Wigan is down there. Derby County. So it's not that easily. And I want to see the Reggae Boys players playing at the highest level, in their country, whichever country they're playing in. So let's see if Sheffield Wednesday can stay out of that red mark, but they have to play really hard because they in a dark fight in the championship. Yeah. So I think, in this game, I forgot. I think, when Sheffield Wednesday scored that first goal, Cardiff got 2 penalties in the space of 3 minutes to go 2-1 up. I think a former West Brom player, Robinson, and I think he has some Jamaican heritage too. He missed one of those penalties. So they missed both penalties in the game. They missed, I think they got one in the 4th and 7th minute of the game, and both of those PK missed. The keeper saved both of them. So credit to the goalkeeper. So clean sheet for the Sean Bernard team in the FA Cup. They're marching on to the 4th round. So let's see who they're going to face tomorrow. Another team, Swansea City play more combat, Reggae Boy International team, Jamal Lowe, but he was left out of the squad. Due to it's a lower league team, Swansea's in the championship, they rest him, so he usually been in that Swansea team. He played the last game, and the game against Swansea yesterday, they rest him, so there's no signs of Jamal Lowe in that team. And we're moving on to Sunday, 2 games. The big champions, defending champions, Manchester City, they float the Blacks early in the FA Cup, 5-0 blank Huddersfield Town. I think, I don't remember if it's Darren Moore is coaching Huddersfield, the former Reggae Boy International. Let's check it. Let's check it out, because I know, Darren Moore is a coach that's coaching Huddersfield Town. So Darren Moore is the coach. You know what happened with him and Sheffield Wednesday after he brought up Sheffield Wednesday from the League One to the Championship, and he got the sack, but he got thumped today at the Etihad, against Manchester City. Kevin De Bruyne is back, Jeremy Doku is back. It's scary, it's scary for everyone that will support Arsenal, Liverpool, Villa, Spurs, because City is coming right back where they belong, but I say, City, every time in the 3rd round, they always get this favorable draw. They won the trophy. They are the defending champions, so they're here to come to defend their trophy. So, but Manchester City blank Huddersfield 5-0. Sorry for Darren Moore, but that's what you got, when you go to Etihad and try to sit back too deep. And they got 2 opportunities in that first half, but they didn't took the opportunities, and City just went all over them. Luton Town versus Bolton 0-0 at Kelmet Road. Amari Bell played a tremendous game. He played a tremendous game. He created 2 big chances, 72 touch in the game, 12 passes into the final third, and he's playing as a left centre back. And I think the left back, I think Doherty, that is the left back for Luton Town, really good left back. So I think he's the reason why, Amari Bell is he's a player out of the 2 that can play in that left centre back. As Doherty is an attacking fullback. So, so his name, Roberts, I think his name, the Luton Town coach, played Amari Bell at left centre back since the start of the Premier League. So as I said, created 2 big chances, 72 touches, 12 passes into the final third, and 7 recoveries. And He dribbled past only one time, and his passing accuracy was 87%. So another wonderful performance from Amari Bell for Luton Town. But unfortunately, they're going to have to get a replay, and they're going to have to play away, at Bolton Wanderers home. So let's hope Luton Town can get that replay win over Bolton. I don't know if those games will play. I know Crystal Palace and Everton game replay will play a couple days from now, but I'm not sure about these replays as they are not fixtures as yet. I don't see it. I don't know if someone else see it and can recommend to it. But let's let me check. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, couple of games as fixtures already. The Birmingham Hull City. That would play. I think that will play next week Tuesday. So the Crystal Palace game and Everton that will play next week as well. So those games are next week. Okay. So those games are next week. Oh, the EFL Cup is this week. Midweek. So yeah, Wolves and Brentford, game will play. But that's it. Luton Town drew with Bolton. As I said, wonderful performance again from. So Jackie Love TV saying Bell needed some more coaching in the defense era. To me, yeah. So yeah, Jackie. I know this about, and been seeing this about Amari Bell, especially in the Premier League. Whenever his back is like, as if the ball is on the opposite area of his wing, the ball is on the right side of his defense, and the ball come over. Sometimes he's kind of lack, concentration and position awareness, of where that ball can come. And when player, I don't know if he's still learning as a player playing in that left centre back, because sometimes when he played for Luton Town, sometimes he tend to push up a little bit in that left wing back area, as he is a wing back, by trade. But Rob Roberts, the Luton Town coach, favorable him to play in that left centre back. Probably I've given him a little bit more dynamic, pushing up in that left hand side. As Luton Town, their left side is their strongest point, their strongest attacking point in their team. So I think it kind of makes sense, Amari Bell. But position awareness, though, is really poor, when players running off his shoulder, because it's different when players running off your shoulder as a left centre back and as a wing back. It's kind of different, because when players, you rubbing that touchline as a left wing back, playing in that back five or back three as a wing back, doesn't matter. The player probably only can go on the touchline outside, or the only other way is come inside. But playing that left centre back, you expose for player to can run half your left and half your right. Yes, so it sometimes it's position awareness. It need to get better. So it's down to him, and it's down to the Luton Town coaching staff, for getting that direction more, towards Amari Bell. Yeah, his position awareness sometimes it's really good. Whenever I think sometimes when he played for the Reggae Boys, sometimes he tend to play a little bit more wide from that left centre back. He don't really play much close to Pinnock, or whoever playing that left centre back. But a really good player, and I think he can make a lot of progress, but he just have to learn the trade a little bit more faster. Yeah. So we're going to move on, to another team. This is a local derby, big team. This team is owned by Ryan, Reynolds and Paul McKenna. The Hollywood superstars. Wrexham beat Shrewsbury 1-0. The reason why I picked this game out, everyone, talk about. Yeah, sometimes, yeah, sometimes it seems like, when Bell plays, it seems like he have the world on his hand, all these times to make decision. But yeah, Greg Lay is better than Bell to me. So before I move on, sometimes when you get the ball, especially when the Reggae Boys is playing out, to him from the back, sometimes it take too much time on the ball. It's something you don't know when to release the ball early. I feel like he's still confused of, where he should turn, where it should be his first pass, but it's down to the team chemistry, the team philosophy and how the team want to play. But Greg Lay is a better defender, position awareness, defending 1v1 is very tough, he's solid. But the thing though with Lay, yeah, Lay is very strong on both sides. He can play the right and he can play the left back. So playing at left back or playing at right back, he tend to pick up, those extra runs or, picked up those runs that wingers or wing back usually made between him and his center half defender, so because he's comfortable using both feet, Bell tend to stick out on that left side to cover that wide area too much and leaving that right side inside, which is a dangerous part, tend to players to run through that more. So Bell probably more attacking player than Lay. Very good in the final third. Lay is final third decision, getting ball across sometimes can be a lackluster. So yeah, that's my point of view between Lay and Amari Bell. But Shrewsbury, got beaten 1-0 at home. Both teams, Wrexham is located in Wales. It's just, I think, 7 miles apart, from the UK to where Shrewsbury is at. No, 7 miles, from Wales to Shrewsbury, just probably 30 minutes drive from both stadiums. So it's very close, but Wrexham is a club making a lot of progress. Yeah, they're playing in that. I think they were in the 8th division at one point. In the last 4 years. So they're making stride. They're right now in third position. In League Two, but Shrewsbury got a whole lot of chances in this game where they could have easily scored. But Wrexham went to the fourth round last season in the FA Cup. They went on and got beaten at Bramall Lane in the replay. 3-1, I said it earlier. But yeah, that's it. Another game, this was an underdog game, West Brom versus Aldershot Town. Aldershot Town is in the National League. That is the 5th tier of English football. West Brom is in the Championship, and West Brom just spoke them away. I had it on my card, hoping Aldershot could get, that famous, FA Cup win, big upset, but it wasn't on the card. Yeah, West Brom is 5-time FA Cup champion. The last time they won that, it was back in 1968. So big club in the FA Cup with rich history. West Brom, they call themselves the Baggies. But another game, West Ham versus Bristol. No signs of Mikel Antonio. He's still doubtful. I think he will be back in the return of the Premier League. They'll need a good coach. He's a powerful player, but he don't know how to use what he has. Confused, yeah. Really good. I think he will do really good, playing for a better, Premier League team, to be honest. He will, and a better Premier League manager. Let's see. Yeah, Forest game going to the replay. Yeah, that was another big one. They almost got that upset, against Blackpool. Blackpool is a former team that used to be in the Premier League, formerly known as, the captain Charlie Adams. Sir Alex Ferguson said Charlie Adams' left foot alone valued 10 million. But as Forest could have won that game, but didn't manage to take the opportunity in that game. But West Ham also going to play the replay. They drew with Bristol City at home. Jared Bowen again on the score sheet. This man deserved to be on the plane for England coming up in that Euros next summer. Yes, I would say, Jackie, Amari Bell would probably fit in a more Brentford team. Why I said that? Brentford is more of a structured team. Scandinavian people, yeah, just like Thomas Frank, he's Danish. Everything they do is structure. Yeah, it's all about family love. You heard it, from Ivan Tonimo. You heard it from Pino. You heard it from Kiera. This team is well family orientated, and how they played on the pitch, they know exactly what they do. They shop in the market strategically. They don't just rush and buy players. So I feel like, you know, under a really good coach like Thomas Frank, Amari Bell will probably fit in that team more than Everton. Everton is a team, is they missing their identity. It's not the Everton when David Moyes was there. It's the Everton where they change managers probably every 10 months, every 14 months. Yeah, so Brentford would probably be a better team, for Amari Bell to play in. I think, Brentford have their wing back. Brentford, one of Brentford wing back, is Lewis Potter. Yeah, Lewis Potter, the Englishman. They have, I think they have another left back at their club. I think it's Yano. But Brentford will be a better team, yeah, like Liverpool. Yeah, Liverpool play together football just like Brentford, these teams. But Everton is on that downside right now where nothing is going right now for Everton. So I wouldn't want to see a Reggae International go in that player like a caliber of Amari, who's going to turn out to be an established Premier League club. I feel like, if Luton to go down tomorrow, a Premier League club will pick them up, But West Ham going to get that replay against Bristol City. No signs yet from Mikel Antonio, still nursing, that long injury he got I think in that Canada game, But the big game of the week, it's Liverpool versus Arsenal, yeah? And Arsenal, they flew out of the block, left Liverpool, and Arsenal could have easily leading this game. Probably, I would say the first 20 minutes, they should have probably 2-3 up in that first half. And I was watching that game, and when the game get to around the 35-40 mark, I'm saying, I'm guarantee if this game goes 0-0 and in that first half, Liverpool going to come out in the second half, look the better team, and will take their opportunities. Even though both teams in this game, they were poor in the final third. Both teams just don't want to finish, but Liverpool just took two of the opportunities that they created. Yeah, and one of that was an own goal, really, really good free kick, from Trent Alexander-Arnold, the Polish, got that glancing header and beat, Aaron Ramsdale in the goal. And oh my God, what a finish from Luis Diaz. Top shelf finish from the Colombian, yeah? Really good finish. But where Arsenal goes from here, man, because this is their third defeat in a row. They play the last three games, they lose. They lose against West Ham. They lose against Fulham, two London club. Now they lose against a team that they drew, 1-1 at Anfield with a couple weeks ago. So Mikel Arteta is looking Reece looking good. I feel like that should have never been, Reece substitution, even though he kind of faded off a little bit in that second half. But Reece his pace was lightning, in that first half, threatening the Liverpool backline, Konsa and other player, Joe Gomez. Yeah, so but yeah, Liverpool should have beat them in that. Especially, I think Liverpool should have been rewarded in that penalty in that game. But when I see, I want to say this. When I saw, I saw something on YouTube where just before the starting level, put it out, out there, saw that, Gabriel Jesus was going to be out of this game, carrying a knee injury. And I said, okay, maybe this is Eddie Nketiah time, to come up again big for the Gunners. And boom, 30 minutes after, it's Kai Havertz. And I was like, that is a big, big decision there from Mikel Arteta. And I just feel like for the last couple of months, he's just getting, his decision making is wrong. I don't know if he's trying to get too much balance out of the team. As you know, Kai is a player that he is a slash forward midfield player, someone that can bring a balance, as a fast number 9. I don't know if he's trying too much to be that, that Pep Guardiola 2.0, or I don't know, man. But Kai Havertz should have been on the bench. Um, Trossard should have been on the pitch. Eddie Nketiah should have been on the pitch. Smith Rowe should have been on the pitch, because you're not getting that balance. And Smith Rowe is a player in that season where I think a couple seasons ago, 2021, 2022 season, he played a massive part, you know, with the Gunners of qualifying them in the UEFA Champions League back again. And he went on to play around 33 games and started around 21, and he grabbed double figures in goals and with 2 or 3 assists. So he was a big player, and he was a vital player for the Gunners, a couple seasons back. But struggling with injuries, and all of that. But I think he bring more directness, more poise, in that front three, just behind those front three for the Gunners. Guys, they could have probably give Martin Odegaard a rest today, put him on the bench, try to give younger players, who haven't getting playing time, throughout the season, someone that can come on and prove themselves. I think he could have, get that out of Smith Rowe. Smith Rowe, I love this player. He's a really good player. He's one of those players that, is always looking to get his teammates in the game. He can stick that left winger and that right winger just between him as a triangle, and use the number 9 man as that pivot, double pivot man, playing right behind him, and can create a chance. And that's what, he did in that season where he excelled for Arsenal, a couple seasons back before he got injured. But I would love to know why Eddie Nketiah didn't start when you have Gabriel Jesus, the main number 9, not in the squad. And when Gabriel was out, he was a player that banging in goals for Arsenal. So I don't know where Mikel go from here, man, because the Gunners fans, they getting frustrated. You could see that, even watching the game, even when they make an attack and, they try to cheer up the fans just not having it. The fans just not really having it at Emirates. Emirates usually be this loud place where it's kind of intimidating over probably the start of the season, going back to last season. So Mikel, going to have to really find back that togetherness where Arsenal is have. And Tomiyasu, I think he went to the Asian Games for Japan. I think Zinchenko is another player that's struggling, to stay fit, and sending out Kieran Tierney to Real Sociedad. Tierney is a real good player. Tierney for so many years is the best left back in the Scottish League for Celtic. Yeah, so he's a good player that came down from Scotland to London playing for the North London team, and he just, but again, injured, but he is more quality player that can defend 1v1. He's really good in the attacking third, and I don't know why Mikel Arteta don't favor. Mikel need players probably to play that little inverted player, wing back would come in, and like sometimes you have to just play the football as it is, play according to your opponent. But Liverpool on that flip side now, the big man is not there. Yeah, the man that have double figures in assists and goals this season, Mohamed Salah, is off, to Ivory Coast to play in that African Cup of Nations. And when you took a double figures goals and assists out of a team, especially a player like Mohamed Salah, it's huge. And I think Liverpool have a record where that 2022 African Cup of Nations, where him and I think Sadio Mane went to the African Cup of Nations final. That period where Liverpool missed those players, yeah. Liverpool went on, I think, to play around 5 games, and they only failed to win one of those games. And I think it was the second leg game in that AFL Cups time in January. And Liverpool went on to score 12 goals in that 5 games run. And they have a really good, impressive run when Mo Salah is not there. I think when we thought Mo Salah, they won 68 percentage of their game, and when Mo Salah is no, I think yeah, when Mo Salah is not there, 68%, and when Mo Salah is there, 63% they won. So yeah, their record is more better, when they are not without when they are without Mo Salah. But obviously, with Mo Salah as a player that don't really miss a lot of games. I think he only missed a few games, since he came over from Roma. So you don't miss he's a really good quality player, always available for selection. Arsenal going to get better with that team, though their team reminds me of when Klopp just came to Liverpool. They need a leader like Endo or Milner in that midfield. Martin Odegaard been the captain for a couple of seasons now. They bought West Ham captain Rice. He came over from West Ham, so I think he brought some leadership to that midfield. But I think the players that playing around Rice sometimes kind of let him down. Rice is playing really good. When I talk to people about Declan, people said, Declan is not doing what he's supposed to do. Yeah, Declan don't really score that goal, but if you watch Declan off the ball, his position awareness of where the number 10s, the cams going to run in the channels in between him and his centre back is really good. He picked up those interception really good, and he can read the game good. So as a CDM, you don't really get much favorable liking on the pitch, as you don't really score much goals. Yeah, you're not going to be someone that pass goals, that play deep and can get goals, like that. But Declan is doing a really good job, just by mapping out where the attacking players is running in behind him and that center half position. And I think that's why Saliba and Gabriel can play it a little bit more comfortable in their own zone, because they have someone in front of them that blocked off probably around 20 to 30% of those passes that come through the channels between the CDM and the center of Arsenal. And they are a very good defensive pair since last season. They're probably one of the best pairings in the Premier League from last season. Saliba is growing, and I think Saliba is growing as a leader too. He's a little bit vocal on the pitch. His English is not really good, him and Gabriel, but both of them can grow, into a really good leadership, just like what Arsenal used to add back in the days, with I forgot his name, Sol Campbell and Tony Adams, type of defender. I remember Tony Adams and Sol Campbell was arguably one of the best defender in their generation in the Premier League, just before Ray Ferdinand come up and start to be that established centre back. But yeah, they have leadership in the team, but it's just that how they translate all of that onto the pitch. But it's down to the manager. But Liverpool, next thing I want to say, Mikel Arteta is coming in to become this cry baby. I don't know what is going on with him. He's becoming this cry baby, just like Jurgen Klopp. Klopp go to the referee, the fourth official, every time his team is losing. That's the time when he ning like a lot of bees in the fourth official ears. And you saw that article that came out, Mikel Arteta, that message that they sent to the the PGMOL, the referee, the organization for the referee, and he's saying that Bukayo Saka should get more protection. When football reaches level, what manager want players to do, what manager other managers want the other opposition player to do, just let a player run in and score. Football is not a contact game anymore. Football is a contact game. This is not netball, where you can't really make contact with each other. The man them seems like the man just want soften up the football. I remember when Eden Hazard was in the Premier League, Wilfred Zaha is one of the most foul players in the Premier League during his time playing for Crystal Palace. Hazard was the same thing. Cristiano Ronaldo was the same thing, when he used to skip over the bars, 06, 07, 08 them times. Yeah, and you could name so many players that don't get that protection from the referees. But what's so different about Bukayo Saka? It's up to him. of how to ride the challenge. Who watch Lionel Messi as oh this player, can dribble, low sense of gravity, just by using his body as a balance and dribble around players, you have to learn to adapt. So it's just BS, from Mikel Arteta to said that about the referee send message to the PGMOL. It's ridiculous. So going to talk about coming up in the Premier League. Have a little chit chat. The Premier League that's going to return. I was saying it's frightening earlier that Alan is still out. Kevin De Bruyne came back. I think this is his second game in the squad for Manchester City, but Manchester City is looking sharp again because just before they went off to that Club World Cup, Manchester City the team was looking a little bit lackluster in performance, and they coordinate with each other. It's down to not having that creative sparks in the midfield. KDB not having that super Norwegian, that vocal point up in that number 9 position, and sometimes I think it get to before that Club World Cup they were playing a little bit stiff, as if they don't want to push the ball in beyond or don't want to get the ball in the box. Julian Alvarez is not physical player that can come up against 6'5", 6'4" defenders. He's not. Is not his game. His game is to get in and round. Making flip turns, running behind defenders. That's his game, and not playing with that natural left back can hurt the team a little bit when you don't have that creative sparks. Because Pep don't really play with that natural left back. Yeah, I think he has Mendy at the time, he has Kolarov at the time, he has Garrett Clichy at the time. So many players at the time, I think Danilo, the Brazilian, Zinchenko, so you could point out only a few real natural left back, like Kyle Walker was in that Manchester City squad, but everyone else on that right side is really good, from Kyle Walker to the centre back, and Man City get all those, whip down that right side, all those balls whipping in, but there's not a vocal point. So remember before they went off to the I think they went to the Club World Cup, they drew 2-2 with Crystal Palace, at Etihad. So going to the Club World Cup, players coming back, winning that Club World Cup, beating Fluminense. It was a hard, tough game, and players get a few days off with their family, coming back to go to Goodison Park, a team that was really flying at the time. Everton was on a really good run at the time. I was a bit worried for City, like, is the winless run going to continue? Yeah, because I think they drew like 5 of those games. They're not getting beaten, but they're drawing a lot of games. So I was like, is Everton going to get a point, from Manchester City? Are City going to come up? But, that victory that City did over Everton proved me that, City is coming back. It showed me that this is a team is finding their mojo back. And what they did after that went on to win games. They win today. Sure, it's Huddersfield Town yet, but just look at how they coordinate. Phil Foden is playing out of his skin. So Pep Guardiola going to have some headache back again. Is he going to put Bernardo back out on the right? He's going to stick with Phil Foden back out on the right, put back KDB in the middle. Haaland going to come, play through the middle. So it's going to be frightening for the rest of Premier League teams, and they only a few points from the leader. I think around 3 points from Liverpool. Yeah, so let's see, what formation and all that City going to play. But Liverpool, on the side now, just said it, no more Salah. But during this time, playing without more, one player I always said, if he's fit, he's going to score, and that is Diogo Jota. Diogo Jota is the man that since he came over from Wolves, he wins some crucial points for for the Merseyside team. And today, it showed that the quality of Jurgen Klopp coaching ability, it's really superb because Diego Jota is a player that he loved to play against Arsenal. He played 13 games against them and scored 8. So he loved to play, and Diego Jota find himself on the bench. Obviously, probably no, because he's coming off an injury, a long-term injury. He's kind of injury prone. Mo Salah is not going to be there for some games, around 2 to 3 weeks, depends on how Egypt, qualify for the African Cup of Nations. So kind of give him that rest, but Gakpo, Nunes, and Diego, the Gakpo, Nunes, and the Colombian, Luis, is fit, more stronger. So he gave them that start, and they played really good. But Jota is going to be that crucial player, for Liverpool. And I'm going, so Mo Salah games at African Cup of Nations going to start, the 14th of January. That will be, I think, weekend coming up. They will play Mozambique. The 18th, they will play Ghana, and they will round off, the group stage game with Cape Verde on the 22nd. So they will play a game every 4 days from the 14th to the 22nd. And if they qualify, the quarterfinals going to be on the 27th of January to the 30th. And more likely, Egypt is one of those powerhouse teams in African football, yeah? And the quarterfinals is from the 27th to the 30th of January. Semi-final, is going to be on the 7th of February. And the third place game going to be the 10th of February. And the final is going to be on February the 11th. So if Egypt go all the way to the final of the African Cup of Nations, Mo Salah going to miss some crucial games for Liverpool. I think Liverpool have Chelsea at the end of the month. I think let's look at Liverpool fixtures. Yeah, so Liverpool next game, will be in the 10th EFL Cup. Bournemouth, in the Premier League 21st. Back again, at Craven Cottage, second leg of EFL Cup. So that's 1, 2, 3. That's 3 games already. The end of month, they will host Chelsea, and then the February 4th, they will also travel back to London to face an Arsenal team who's going to look on to get revenge, and they will play Burnley February the 10th. So if Mo Salah Egypt team go on to all the way to the final of the African Cup of Nations, he will miss all those games and come back for that Brentford game where they play Brentford away at the GTEC Stadium. So it's a different set of fixtures than what Liverpool faced a couple seasons ago when Mo went off to the African Cup of Nations. Those type of fixtures more favorable winning bottom table teams. Now, these teams is really good. Fulham beat Arsenal at Craven Cottage. Liverpool is going away to at the Vitality Stadium to play Bournemouth and Dominic Solanke is on really good form. Andone Irioli, the Spanish coach, is doing a really good job. I have to applaud him because I have to applaud the Bournemouth director, the owner, everyone to give him that time, and he turned around the club and they're playing excellent. Now they're right up there in the top in the table. I think Bournemouth is 12 right now, so they're playing really good. So yeah, if Mo went on to go all the way up, he will miss all those games. Yeah, and since Mo Salah, signed in 2017, he only missed 3 games, and those 3 games, is injuries because of injuries. But not talking about the games that you have to go for the African Cup of Nations. And I said that already. But yeah, that's it, for Liverpool. But I have one more thing to say about Liverpool. Yeah. Liverpool, I think Liverpool is either scheduled because Liverpool didn't finish, the Premier League in the top 4. They finished, I think, 5th or 6th. But I think they finished 5th in that Europa League spot behind United, who finished on 4th position. So Liverpool last season have a whole lot of injury problem, and everyone talk about, Liverpool going to rebuild and all of that, getting Shabazai, McAllister, they're getting Endo, and I think the Japanese player they bought from Stuttgart, Endo, he is a quality CDM. Many people write him off in the first couple of games, but if you can look how him all that Liverpool midfield together, he's a warrior. Most people would say, he fouled players a lot, but that's what CDM do. Casemiro have done it at Real Madrid when he was the best CDM in the world. Just picked up those with a professional foul, and Endo is a really good player. And that ever since McAllister went down and Klopp removed him and he brought in Endo in that CDM, that's when Liverpool just started to flourish more and more. He just kind of shield that backline, and he reminds me of when Gigi Wijnaldum and Endo was Henderson was in that midfield. Yeah, so see what they can do, but I feel like there's going to be pressure now on Liverpool. Can they manage that pressure? Because no one expects Liverpool to be leading the league. They are ahead of schedule, just like Mikel Arteta. This is his first job as a manager in the Premier League. He's just couple of years in, and Arsenal as another team is ahead of schedule, but because these teams are big club, they're huge club, they expect to win, and that's why the pressure is mounting right now. So Liverpool going to be tired to challengers, but let's see if they can keep up, that run of games going, But Liverpool, they crept up behind all these players. No one expected, Liverpool just find themselves in that position, But I saw a little bit of transfer that Dominic Solanke is off to not off, but linking with Arsenal. I wouldn't say Dominic Solanke is a really good fit for Arsenal at this time. Dominic, he just started to play really good for Bournemouth. Yeah, he was a loanee everywhere he go. He used to score goals in he was like a championship baller. Someone like Patrick Bamford was just a championship player. When they play for that championship club and they come up, they fail in the Premier League. So Dominic Solanke find room. He's playing really good, but I don't think he's a good target right now for the Gunners. I don't think so. See what Arsenal want to do. They want to get Ivan, but Thomas Frank said no. You're going to take or think around over 100 million to price him away because Mbuemo, the Cameroonian player, is injured. He's not going to the African Cup because he's injured. He's going to come back 2 months from now. Wissa, I think he played for Mali. He's after the African Cup, so they light up front. So Thomas Frank would be suicide to let Ivan Toney lead at the moment. Same thing for Aidon Iraola, the Spanish coach for Bournemouth. Playing really good. They're up in 12th position. More likely they're going to stay in the Premier League. Premier League clubs have a lot of money, so they're not going to be under a lot of pressure to sell Solanke. So I think Arsenal should move on and probably get another target, but Arsenal do need another centre forward up there, someone that have that presence, because Gabriel Jesus, remember when Gabriel Jesus said his job is not as a centre forward, his role is not really just to score goals, and Arsenal bought him from City to score goals. So he told even Chiche, the Brazilian coach, he don't want to play as a centre forward, you want to play on a wing, and that's where he played for the Citizens, Manchester. So they're going to have problem. But Tottenham, another team, big Ange, after injury, miserable, failing him for the last couple months, but he's kind of picking up a few results now. He played his last 6 games and he only lost 1, and that was a 4-2 away to Brighton. But from there, Tottenham is playing really good. Madison is looking to coming back soon. I think they lost their captain. They lost Bissouma and they lost Pape Sarr, so they lost two central midfielder and their leading marksman, Young-Min Son. So they agreed deal to sign Timo Werner. Timo Werner, is a player that Chelsea, have a miserable time at Stamford Bridge. Yeah, during his time at Stamford Bridge, 36 games in his first season, 11 goals. Second season, 52 games, 12 goals, And most of those goals come in, I think, in cup plays and all of that. But Timo Werner, I think, remember when Mo Salah came at Chelsea, came over from Basel, it didn't work out for him. He went to Roma, come back to the Premier League as a better player, as a more experienced player, more mature player. He have just lighted up the Premier League from there, from 2017 until now. Kevin De Bruyne is another player. Was at Chelsea. Come back, when Mourinho was there, got shipped out. It's not good enough. Go to Wolfsburg, proven player, got Bundesliga player of the season. Come back to England, played under Pep Guardiola, the best midfielder right now in the world. Creatives, when you're talking about creativity, yeah. So who else? I don't remember who else, but so I said that to say this. Timo Werner have a woeful time at the bridge. Go back to Leipzig. Scored loads of goals before he came to Chelsea during that time. He was Leipzig talisman in the Bundesliga. Someone that always, running against Lewandowski in the Golden Boot in the Bundesliga, and Chelsea bought him 2 miserable seasons. Now he's on the verge. Agreed terms, to join Spurs. So coming back, he should understand the Premier League more. He should be a much more mature player. Someone that, who played in the Premier League for 2 years, you learn a lot. So playing under a coach, with you don't play with the handbrake down. Big Einstein, Tottenham play with the handbrake, up like they just flying. They just flying. They just play aggressive, fluent football. They just don't play with any sadness in their game like when Mourinho was there. Yes, so no, son, he's a good player that can play on that left hand side or anywhere in that midfield, in that front three. Quality player that can play right, left, center. Richie is scoring goals. He's back on the scoring sheet. So I think this will be a definitely good signing for Tottenham, because Timo Werner is a player. He's electric pace. He's very direct. He played a pressing game, as you know. Leipzig played a pressing game right on their front foot. That's how they play, and that's all. Big Ange, is doing his thing right now at Tottenham. So let's see if that deal is going to materialize out. And Spurs also need another centre half. Yeah, Spurs. Romero is out until February. I think Eric Dyer should be out. Of the club after Bayern Munich is linking interest with the Englishman. So Tottenham we're going to need to shop in the market because their squad is so thin. But the thing though, they don't have any European football. They don't have any EFL Cup this week as they're out for a long time now. And the only thing that they should have be worrying about is the FA Cup and getting in that top four. So Aston Villa is another team, that I want to talk about. Our boy, Leon Chippy Bailey. Someone that, played 18 games so far, 6 goals, 5 assists in the Premier League. Really good job doing at Villa. Many people write him off in the first couple of seasons, but you have to understand, yeah, playing under Dean Smith with Stevie Gerrard, Dean Smith wasn't what for me. Aston Villa is that big club in Birmingham, big city. Used to be in and out of the European, the European tournaments. Back when I used to have, Martin O'Neill, the coach. Martin O'Neill was a coach back then. He has to have Rio Corcourt, Gabriel Banglahor, Garrett Barry, Ashley Young, James Milner, so much good players. Shay Giffen, can't name everybody, but Aston Villa was that club in that, during that time was a really, really good club, but Aston Villa, I think that's another team. I think they need to keep that starting 11 as sharp and as fit as possible, because they're bench players that they're supposed to, depending on, to come on and change the game and scoring goals, you know. So, Watkins, Diaby, Leon, Jacob, Ramsey, Louis, Douglas Louis, Kamara, is it Kamara? Tillman is still out. Matty Cash is another vital piece, for Unai Emery team, yeah. And I think the only position I see Aston Villa really need to sharpen up is get that balanced left back, because Lucas Digne, the Frenchman, kind of, so he's very good at set pieces. He's very good at set pieces, yeah. But he's kind of lapsed one and two times in games, and it cost Aston Villa in games during the season so far. Even that game where Everton beat Aston Villa, he was one of the problem in that game. Yeah, so in that EFL Cup game. So I think that's one of the only position that really need emergency, strengthening. But I think they have a player out, that Spaniard. I forgot his name. Let's find out his name. I think they still have that player out. They bought from Real Betis, I think. What's his name? I'm trying to remember his name. Oh yeah, so he back. Yeah. Alex Moreno, the player that I was talking about. Alex Moreno, really good fullback, so I think, shipped out DNA and keep, the Spaniard Alex Moreno. So get another one that can really do the work defensively and attacking it. Saw what Unai Emery did at Villarreal, playing that 4-4-2, beating Manchester United in that Europa League final in a couple seasons about, so he's doing the same thing at Villa, and he's playing the same style of pattern, he played at Sevilla, Europa League king, he done it at Sevilla, he done it at Villarreal, he have done it at Paris Saint-Germain. The only place he haven't done it, because, they were mocking him and all of that, said the man can't speak English properly, is at Arsenal, but he have done it everywhere you go, getting his tactics right out there. But Villa, players that need to sharpen up and get on the board more is Ramsey. He was injured, but 10 games, no assists, 1 goal in the Premier League. The Colombian, Duran, 13 games, 2 goals, yeah? Need to sharpen up. These are the players that, sometimes are players that come off the bench whenever they need to change game, change direction, get some fresh legs, off the bench and inject them into the team. Zaniolo, the Italian, only 1 goal, and that goal, I think, in the Premier League came against when they were 1-0 down at home against Sheffield, and he got that extra time goal. Yeah, so 1 goal in 13 games, no assists. These players, if Aston Villa are going to go from here until May and keep challenging for the title, they just can't heavily depend on Watkins, Douglas Luiz, who always scoring penalties. I think he scored 6 Premier League goals so far. Leon is scoring. Diaby, the goals scoring has been dried up a little bit. 6 goals, I think 6 goals and 4 assists in 20 games. Douglas 6 goals, 3 assists in 19. Magin 5 goals in 20 appearances in the Premier League and 2 assists. So these players are making marks. Watkins 9 goals in 20 games, 8 assists. So he's almost going up there. So that's 17 goals involvement for Watkins. Leon 11 goals involvement. Magin 7 goals involvement. Diaby 8 goals involvement. Douglas Luiz, 9 goals involvement. So those 5 players are the players that playing standout football for Aston Villa. But you can't write out the man in the goal. Yeah, because he made some remarkable save. And the back line, it's kind of chop and change, with Konsa, Carlos, the Brazilian. Matty Cash is the one that, playing consistently really good in that back line. Everyone else is kind of off a little bit. Pau Torres, Mings is still out. But Villa should challenge for the title. They can't playing good from August until now and just drop off like that, yeah? And one thing I really, really love about European football this season, you know, a lot of teams in that top six, top five of the table in across Europe is playing of that one team who is surprising the big guns in that league. The Premier League is Villa, yeah? No one expected Villa to be doing such a really good job. Go on to Bundesliga, Stuttgart, Guarsi. Everyone, wanted a piece of Guarsi right now. Guarsi is running down Hurricane in goals. Stuttgart is up there in the table. Go over there in La Liga. It's the same thing. Girona, affiliate team, Manchester City. A team that, I think Pep Guardiola brother is the big man for that club. I think he's like the president or something, or the technical director. Yeah. Girona is up there with Real Madrid, beating Atletico Madrid over, a couple of days ago before the break. What a game, at Girona. And Girona is up north, right beside Barcelona, and they beat Barcelona, in that Olympic Stadium. And the last game that Girona, I think Girona lost is when they lost that game. I think it was in September or November when Real Madrid beat them 3-0. I think that's the only game Girona lost. And they dropped points recently against Real Betis at Real Betis. I think that game drew 1-1, yeah? Or 2-2. But Italian Serie A, Bologna, Thiago Motta is coaching that team. Bologna is right up there for that top four finish. I think they're fifth position right now, and it's the same thing happening over there in the Farmers League, the Uber Eats, Nice, Radcliffe team. They playing out of their skin. They're playing really good football. You understand? So that's what I really love, man, about the European football is this surprising pack, in every league that you can think of. And there's another team, let me get them name, let me get them name really quick. There's another team over there in Belgium, yeah. Is Union Saint Galoisi. That team over there is ahead. That's another team they are not a vintage team in the Belgian Pro League that's supposed to be up there. When you're talking about the Belgian Pro League, Anderlecht, Genk, some point, Royal Antwerp, the team that's made their debut, for the Champions League recently, they got knocked out, Club Rouge, but all the local leagues around Europe, man, the teams are doing really, really good. You have that surprising team in the pack, yeah? So we have to see that, these little teams are getting close to the bigger teams as the money is spreading wider and wider, yeah? And over there, in the Netherlands, in the Eredivisie League, you have FC20. It's been a while since FC20 has been up there in the Eredivisie League, yeah? We know Ajax been struggling, but they're coming right up back. I think they're in sixth position right now. But European football is nice, yeah? It's nice, but I think I have a video that's coming later, and I think I have a video that's going to drop later, man. Team of the season so far, in the Jamaican Premier League. I cover the Jamaican Premier League, man, because support Arnett Garden, yeah? So look out for that video also. But people, I just want to take the time out and bless up everyone, that's passed through, keep supporting, the Academy Media House movement. Can't do it without you guys, as you guys are the consumers. So without you guys, there would be this channel. So keep doing a good job smashing the like button. If you haven't subscribed, just subscribe to the channel. That's one of the best way, to subscribe. That's one of the best way to support any YouTube channels out there. Like the video, share it, comment, and subscribe to it. You don't have to do anything more. That's all, we ask for. You guys are watching the video. So bless up, to Joel Smith that, like probably is just coming through. But yeah, I'm going to make a little run. As I said later, there will be a JPL Premier League game. The Junglists will take on Rudolph Speed team, at Sabina. I think that game is at 5 p.m. to I think 5 p.m. today. Yeah. So right after that game, I would come out and give, my Jamaican Premier League team of the season so far, you know. So bless up on yourself. Tomorrow is the FA Cup draw, 2:50 p.m. Eastern time, 15 to 20 minutes, I think, right after the United game. So you can check that out and look who your favorite team going to draw against. So think I have to say, one more thing. A big up, Aston Villa and our top player, Leon Bailey, who we saw, making rounds a couple of days now that, going to get reward a new contract. He deserves it, man. Yeah, he deserves it. And I made a video a couple of weeks back, where I talk about Bonisha and Leon when I said the old Leon Bailey is back, yeah, because I'm so happy that I started to watch Leon Bailey's his early time since he just started to play in the Belgian Pro League, doing that 16 or 17 time. Who remember when Leon Bailey was actually probably the best player in the Europa League when he scored that goal against I think that Austrian team. He scored that memorable goal that got goal of the Europa League that season. Yeah. I think he scored 8 goals in that season, for Genk. And I think he was one of the reasons why I think Genk didn't manage to go on and, advance furthermore in the Europa League, because I think he left that season to join up with Bayer Leverkusen. But yeah, big man, needed that contract, supporting him, man. Another player wanting to support Juventus Stewart. He's going through a hard time, keep down that criticism, keep it on a positive note, as the player join up in a new team, new league, new food, new culture, everything, new people, in a new language, most important thing, yeah. And he's coaching by the legend, the man that who them say born on the offside trap, Filippo Inzaghi. What a time to be coach under man, who have done it for AC Milan, Filippo Inzaghi. So I hope him can learn. If it don't happen at Salernitana in Italian league, maybe can go on somewhere else. Don't be ashamed to drop down the lower league, drop down a little bit further down, and pick up your career again. Or the January transfers here ask for a loan. Cesc Fabregas is down there at Serie B, a team that co-owned by Thierry Henry, the legend. Como doing really good. I think they're in 4th position in the Serie B, looking to come up in the Serie A. So, say they can get a contract down there at Como, brother, and alone. Cesc Fabregas show you the technical and tactical part of the game. That's all Italian football do. Slow, technical, and tactical, but very aggressive defenders. So, he should learn from the best of the best. Italian league used to have some of the best defenders in the world, yeah? Chiellini, Cannavaro, Barzagli, and all these players, yeah? So, bless up on yourself, people. I'm going to make a run. Later, after that Arnett Garden game and Cavaliers, I will come on and do a live. That is 7 p.m. Eastern time. So, we talk, from here. Bless up.